Abhilash. Kudus. Ramya, Shubham Allam, Siddharth, Surbani. I've been calling Surbani for last few. Anuj, do you want to say something? Anuj? Okay. And last call. Anuj, Mainak, Ramya, are you back? Sab Mainak and Ramya. Okay. So let me continue with the demo up. This is what you have to create. You will not use this directly. You will use only via your NPM JS installation. You will publish and you will install in two different applications. The application where you are installing your grid layout library is your parent component. And you will call your child. Okay. So let me create a sample demo. I will create one layout and I'll create one component. That's a parent component. You need to repeat according to the requirement of your KeepNote and ImageGram app. Right. So listen. Please come into my application. Here I'm gonna to make my layout component as child and my app component is my parent. In your case, it is different. And by the way, in my app component, I'm gonna to call my child. So along with that, I have to pass some inputs. So what are all the inputs? Again, I'll repeat, my app component is parent. In parent, I'm calling child. This way of calling is not new to us. And in child, you need to capture with at input. So let me pass. So I will pass. Let's take column count. So I am passing, okay, column count. So let me give 6 column. What else? Number of columns, column width, layout width, vector values. So let me pass column counts. Let me pass gap between column. It will be in the form of this parameter. And let me give maximum width as 1250 pixel. Let me pass 3 input to my child. And let me have some data. Okay. What is this data actually according to the sprint? Data, this data needs to be published on my page. The data needs to be displayed on the page. I will not use publish, I'll use display. So my parent component is calling child by passing 3 different inputs. And the arrangement, the grid layout arrangement, that will be designed inside our layout component. So let me display the paragraph. I need to traverse with this array. All the array values has been provided. Let x of or let it be. All right, I'm done with my parent. Shall I go to my child? Child is very important. So child is a grid layout where I'm gonna to create a layout structure based on the input I received from parent. So please look into the code. This is my parent component. Parent is calling child by passing 3 different inputs. And what is the content inside parent? I just want to display this data array. What you need to do it in your case? Do you have an array in your application? Task 2 and 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to display. That is why I created an array. I am not creating some random content. So I have data, you have notes array. It's an object type. You can use notes x dot content, x dot title. You leave title, you give content alone. I'm done with my parent. Shall we design a layout in child? So I have to style according to the inputs passed by my parent. Okay. So what are all the inputs we need to capture? So please come along with me. I am in app component, which is parent. Parent is passing 3 inputs and parent is displaying data based on the layout. And what is the data? My data is an array holding some values. In your case, the data also has been provided. You need to just create a layout, and you need to invoke as per your data. Task 2, data consists of notes and content. Task 2 is your image. You have to keep your image URL. All right, I'm going. I don't want to take much time. Go to your child. It's very important. You have to capture inputs. You need to capture column count, column gap, and max width. So how you will capture? You will capture with decorator input bound property. Anywhere you got struck. So I'm getting column count, column count,
after input, I think you should put brackets.
Brackets.
Yeah. Here we are passing along with percentage and the notation, you give it as string. No, empty will collapse. If I'm not sure with the data, you go for question mark. Max width also it is string because we are giving that percentage. So we captured all the three inputs. I am in child component. According to you, it is a library. Okay. Anyway, this also we are passing in double quotes, let it be string. So we captured all the inputs. So let us design a layout. I'm going to create the content. So let it be div instead of paragraph, because in your case, the task 2 is content, but task 3 is image. So let it be div. So this is dynamic loading of my content. I'm going to load the content via my div. Please pay attention. So if we want to insert the content dynamically inside your child component to helps to increase the component reusability, we will use ng content. ng content element is a placeholder that does not consist of real DOM element. We are going to load the content dynamically. ng content element specifies where to project the content inside my component template. Here, my layout grid is going to act like a template. In this template, based on the structure I'm defining, what content will be replaced. I am in my layout component. Inside layout, based on my styling, what content needs to be replaced in third line. Please look into second block. We are calling child component and we are passing the data. So this data will be, here it is data. So irrespective of whatever I'm passing from parent component will be dynamically loaded in the place of ng content based on the template I'm defining here. So we have to use ng content, this tag inside your grid layout, inside your child component, whatever the styling, whatever the layout structure, I'm going to place it in my grid. Based on that, my content of my parent, it can be this layout or it can be this one. It will be fit onto my grid layout. I will repeat again. So we are going to create a library. So where I'm going to define a layout. So as per the layout, as per the input from parent, my parent content needs to be loaded. So in order to load the content from parent at the time of execution dynamically, we will use a tag called as ng content. So what will be displayed in the place of ng content? According to my application, it will display the data. So now, so it will display this lorem paragraph. Is that clear? I'll show you the output. Let me complete it. We are done. We just wanted to define the layout. So in order to define your masonry grid layout, you can use CSS style. Style can be embedded in your Angular DOM with the help of ng style by using your Angular ng. And what is a style? So I want to define, what are all the styles I want to define? See, in order to achieve this grid, we want column count. Column hyphen count is a CSS property. What value needs to apply here? Whatever the value I captured. Column hyphen count is different from column count. This is an input property, whereas this is my CSS style. Column gap. I think I'm missing the syntax. And the last one is max width. I think it should be enclosed within single quotes. Last property is max width. Let me save all 1 second.
Ma'am, column gap.
I think I 1 second.
Line
You know,
number 3.
single quotes
Line
you
number
have
3.
closed in a lot.
Yeah.
Max width.
No. Somewhere or other I missed a tag. Did I miss div tag?
No, it is there in the end.
Nice. No. 1 second. I should get 6 column. Give me 1 minute. So let me check my layout first. Whether the layout 1 works. ng style. Column count is the column count. Captured. I don't have problem here. Once again. I have. It has been repeated as many number of times. We have div, okay.
Already it is applied to do one.
So it's applied div for div only. Since it is. And last try. No, it will not work. It is. It's no problem here. It's not taking the style.
Style is not applying.
The NG style is not taking NG style.
Do we need to import it?
Give your style name without quotes and value with quotes.
No. One minute. I cannot find any mistake.
No, column hyphen count without quotes and your variable name with quotes. Try. Somewhere this syntax only is wrong. Some simple mistake.
No, it's not accepting. Anyway, it is just a property. We can take directly.
First try to apply only for column, remove other things.
Is there some special characters? See, I have a problem with my keyboard. So when I give single quotes and double quotes, no, it will take some special characters. It worked. Guys, it worked. It is working. I will show you the output. And do all the modification. Let me give column count as 5. You see the change? I'll tell you nothing wrong. So I don't know how many of you noticed. Whenever if I give single quotes and double quotes, my machine will not recognize. I have to give a space. So earlier I tried single quotes and space. So before the space, it took some, instead of C, it took some special character. Have you noticed? That is a problem. Have you noticed the difference between this C and this C? Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
it's my experience in our mobile. That is a problem. All right. So I have modified slightly. So now I made column count as 5. So if it is 5, my content. So I don't know how many number of data I have. So roughly it is some 11 data. So I have 11 data. You can cross check here. So I will be having my paragraph 11 times. So same 11 paragraphs. So I will modify. Okay, so let us get into the topic. So my child component, my layout component has been designed. We have designed, used ng style, and we have defined the layout. So this is a grid layout. And inputs we are getting from where? From the parent. So if I say 5 columns, I am getting 5 columns. What will happen if I say 10 columns? How many columns it will be generated? 10. So you can adjust your maximum width, height also you decide. And border, if you want to place column width anyway, it's fixed because we are in masonry layout. So column height and what else? Gap, all we can decide. So let me expand the data. So roughly, let me give some view. So based on the data, based on my array values, my paragraph will be duplicated. Can you see? Some 15 records. So let me come to the core point. So here I have provided some array value as a data. In your case, the data has been provided, the array has been provided. You should not print lorem. You should display the content inside this data. In task 2, it is a title or content. In task 3, it is an image. So in your task 2, div is fine. Whereas in task 3, you need to replace with img tag because you need to display the image. And the layout, it depends upon our child. We are defining the layout and the columns are decided by my parent, and the layout is a library component which we can reuse in both our task 2 and task 3. So I'm giving you few minutes time to analyze. I'll share the code, but analyze what we did. This matters. Apart from that, as of now, we have not used CSS. I'm recommending now to use the CSS. Whatever we have discussed in the beginning now, you can apply the CSS. Spacing, positioning, width, float, auto. You decide and you apply. You define a border. You define a defined color. All I'm leaving to you. You can apply either to a common CSS property or you decide with your parent component. Column count, column hyphen gap. are our CSS property.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
for this sprint, we need to create 3 workspace, na?
You read the problem statement and tell me. I'll show you my diagram.
Ma'am, we can do it with 2 workspaces, no?
Hmm. So I need 2 project and 1 library. That's all. We haven't defined a library alone. Always we will generate a new project. Inside project only you will define a library.
Ma'am, task 2 and task 3 can be placed in single.
Task 2
Workspace.
and task 3 are 2 different projects. Whereas this is just a library component. You can use an existing project and you generate a library and publish that library. And published one, you can use it in 2 different projects of task 2 and task 3.
Ma'am, do we need to copy and paste the data?
Yes, yes, of course. Whatever the requirement, you need to use this entire data for task 2. Whereas in task 3, they have provided images. Ensure that even though if you clone and you use, if there is no conflict with version, you can use. See, I have given an enough hint. You need to implement. So I'm very specific on it. Monday morning, I want all of you to complete all the 3 sprints. Tomorrow I'll be available on whole day on Slack. And okay, we will have a doubt clarification session between 11 to 1. Whomsoever is having a problem, you can join. Or shall we have in the afternoon? Usually we will have in the afternoon. Morning, I want you to give a try. Come on, guys. It's mere for your benefit. You decide.
Ma'am, in afternoon.
So you take morning, forenoon session, you give a try, practice it. As of now, you know how to resolve the error. Most of the time, the problem occurs with your module. You check with the flow. In least case, we will be having a connection in Slack. Apart from that, I will give you a live doubt clarification link. Between 2 to 4 we can have. Whomsoever is having a problem to clarify, you can join. This is a plan for weekend, but complete all the 3. Don't come with an empty. I don't want to see this empty cells. Have keep note and imagegram. I'm going to consider all 3 as one challenge only. Nothing big. I already shared the library hint, the code itself. You need to complete it. I'm done.